two of horror's most terrifying creatures, Pennywise from IT and the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers, weren't just monsters, but predators, shaped by entirely different laws of existence. Fans often compare them because both creatures surface with chilling regularity, feast on humans, and seem almost impossible to kill. But are they really cut from the same cosmic cloth, or are we dealing with two very different nightmares? Welcome back to Your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're diving deep into the metaphysical origins, feeding habits, and biological rules that govern these monsters. And by the end, you'll see why the truth is far stranger than any fan theory suggests. While Pennywise operates on a cosmic scale, as a fear-consuming entity older than time, the Creeper's horror is rooted in flesh, bone, and demonic instinct. One manipulates reality by warping consciousness itself, while the other rebuilds its own body by harvesting the parts of its victims. So buckle up, because once we unravel what drives their hunger, you'll understand why these two nightmares don't just live in different worlds. They might not even belong to the same kind of existence at all. The 27-year question. Every generation in Derry whispers the same chilling story. Something evil sleeps beneath their streets, waiting, watching, feeding, and then disappearing as if it never existed. But clocks always reset. After years of eerie calm, children go missing, tragedies erupt, and the smell of balloons and blood seems to fill the air once more. Pennywise the dancing clown returns, as inevitable as winter after fall. But why does this cosmic entity choose to emerge every 27 years? Why not sooner or later? Stephen King crafted one of the most haunting patterns in horror history, and this recurring cycle isn't just a gimmick, it's a terrifying key to understanding IT's entire existence. And once you notice that Pennywise isn't the only monster with a set feeding schedule, things get stranger. Jeepers Creepers introduced its own nightmarish entity that awakens every 23 years to eat and evolve. Two ancient beings, decades of slumber, recurring hunts. Coincidence or something more?
Prepare to meet fight.
It isn't just a clown, it's a cosmic predator. Before dissecting the 27-year cycle, it's crucial to understand that Pennywise is only a mask. IT itself is an ancient extra-dimensional organism that predates human civilization, arriving on Earth long before the town of Derry was even founded. Pennywise is merely its favorite form, a disguise tailored to harvest the most potent emotional currency in existence, fear. Children fear more intensely than adults, and fear, according to IT, salts the meat. That phrase is chilling for a reason. IT doesn't just eat flesh, it devours emotion. It feeds on terror the same way a parasite feeds on a host's blood. And the better the emotional flavoring, the stronger IT becomes. This tells us something fundamental. The 27-year cycle isn't random. It's linked to IT's biology, hunger, and cosmic rhythm. After a catastrophic feeding spree, the creature must rest, digest, and rebuild its power. Unlike earthly animals, IT has a cycle governed not by seasons or weather, but by metaphysical forces embedded in the macroverse, the unfathomable plane of existence where IT originated.
Is that your favorite?
Uh-huh.
Mine too.
The feeding cycle explained. IT awakens beneath Derry roughly every 27 to 30 years, although the exact length of each cycle varies slightly, hinting at a living creature responding to energy, not a mechanical timer. When IT rises, murders skyrocket, disappearances spike, and the town erupts into chaos. Pennywise carefully selects victims, terrorizing them psychologically before striking. The emotional torment is the main course. The physical act of killing is merely the finale. This cycle lasts about a year to 18 months, and once IT has consumed enough fear to satisfy its hunger, the creature slips back into its lair beneath Derry, entering a dormant state. That hibernation isn't sleep, it's a cosmic incubation. IT replenishes itself, restoring psychic energy, repairing its form, and preparing for the next generation. Just as disturbing is the fact that Derry enables this cycle. The town becomes forgetful, passive, almost enchanted into silence. Adults ignore horrors that happen in daylight. Authorities overlook the impossible, as if the town itself is IT's servant, molded by its influence to protect the monster. Why 27 years? The hidden symbolism. The number 27 is never explicitly explained by King, but readers and scholars have drawn fascinating connections. First, numerology. 2 + 7 = 9, a number associated with completion, endings, and rebirth. It cycle is literally the death and rebirth of fear. Each awakening rewrites Derry's identity in blood. Every slumber resets the stage. A whole generation matures in those quiet years. Children who once lived in terror become adults who choose to forget, leaving a new crop of emotionally vulnerable victims ripe for the taking. Fear begins anew, and IT hungers again. Whether or not King intentionally tied IT to numerology, the consistency is undeniable. 27 years is long enough for trauma to fade, memories to dissolve, and for innocence to return. Pennywise doesn't simply eat bodies, it devours childhood. Derry, the town that feeds the monster. Derry isn't just Pennywise's nest, it's an ecosystem built around IT. Every major tragedy in Derry's history aligns suspiciously with one of IT's awakening periods. Fires, massacres, mysterious deaths, and violent riots erupt without logical cause. Even more disturbing are witness accounts describing clown-like figures at the scenes, suggesting IT's presence was never just metaphorical. It actively orchestrated these events. A grotesque example is the Bradley Gang massacre in 1929. Witnesses saw a clown dressed like a farmer firing alongside citizens. The town didn't question it. Fear became normalized. Then there's the burning of the Black Spot by the main Legion of White Decency, during which a giant bird with balloons on its wings was spotted, another manifestation of IT's endless forms. Every cycle drags Derry into bloodshed, and every hibernation forces the town into denial. IT feeds not only on the children, but on the soul of the town itself. Time works differently for the Eater of Worlds. The 27-year cycle also reflects how IT experiences time. As an interdimensional entity born in the macroverse, it exists outside human chronology. What feels like decades to us may feel like moments to it. When IT retreats, it is not sleeping. It's moving through a different layer of existence. Time bends around it. The Losers Club experiences this firsthand. Every encounter feels dreamlike, and memories fade like mist. IT eats fear, but time is one of its weapons. Breaking the cycle. Why Pennywise finally fell. When the Losers Club confront IT as children, they disrupt its feeding cycle prematurely. That moment weakens the creature, but doesn't kill it. Pennywise retreats angrily into hibernation, deprived of a full feast, making its return decades later inevitable, but vulnerable. Only when the adults return and face their childhood fears head-on do they finally break the pattern. The cycle doesn't end because IT ran out of power. It ends because someone finally stopped feeding it. Fear sustains Pennywise. Courage starves it. Enter the Creeper, another monster with a clock. Now the rabbit hole deepens. In Jeepers Creepers, another creature emerges every 23 years to hunt humans for exactly 23 days. The creeper stalks its victims, terrifies them, and consumes their organs to regenerate its own form. It chooses victims based on scent. Fear literally changes how a person smells to the creature. Sound familiar? Feeding schedule, psychological torment, long slumber, biological necessity. These parallels are too precise to ignore. Both beings awaken after decades of rest, target emotionally primed victims, consume more than flesh. They consume essence, are nearly impossible to kill, leave trails of generational trauma. Is the creeper merely a cinematic homage or something more sinister? Are Pennywise and the creeper connected? Fan theories propose a wild idea. The creeper might be one of Pennywise's offspring. King's novel hints that it is pregnant near the end. If its spawn scattered across Earth, they could evolve differently in different environments. The creeper behaves like a terrestrial version of Pennywise, less cosmic, more physical, but governed by a similar consumption cycle. Add this unsettling detail. Sightings of clown-like or monstrous figures in other towns across King's multiverse imply it isn't unique. The macroverse teems with horrors that humans can barely comprehend. But here's where the theory cracks. Why they probably aren't the same species. Pennywise and the creeper may seem similar at first glance. Both are ancient predators driven by insatiable hunger, but a closer look reveals they're almost certainly not the same species. Pennywise originates from the macroverse, a plane beyond our reality, and is described as older than time itself. It doesn't feast on flesh, it feeds on fear, thrives on emotion, and bends reality and consciousness to its will. It is a psychic predator whose power increases when people believe in its terrifying presence. The creeper, however, is something far more grounded. It's hinted to be demonic and incredibly old, but its existence is tied to physical needs. The creeper devours organs and body parts, regenerating itself through consumption and appearing only during its cyclical feeding seasons. While Pennywise doesn't require a heartbeat or lungs, only the terror of its victims to sustain itself, the creeper literally needs bones, eyes, wings, and muscle to rebuild its form. Yes, both creatures are driven by hunger, but the nature of that hunger separates them entirely. One exists beyond the fabric of reality, feeding on belief and emotion, while the other stalks the physical world, sustained by flesh, blood, and bone. So is there a connection at all? Not canonically. There has never been an official crossover, nor any statement from Stephen King, Victor Salva, or anyone involved in either franchise confirming that the creeper is Pennywise's spawn or even part of the same mythological lineage. Yet, despite the absence of direct confirmation, the influence is impossible to ignore. Jeepers Creepers emerged years after it had already terrified audiences, and the similarities between the two monsters are too striking to dismiss as coincidence. Both creatures operate on long, predictable cycles of awakening. Both stalk their victims with an obsessive hunger that goes beyond survival. Both incorporate ritualistic patterns into their feeding behaviors, and both instill a multi-generational dread that infects entire communities. The creeper doesn't feel like Pennywise's child, but rather like a spiritual successor, a cinematic echo shaped by the same primal fears that made Pennywise iconic. In many ways, it's as if the creeper is a modern reinterpretation of the terrifying blueprint King established, taking the concept of cyclical horror and evolving it into a new monstrous form for a different audience and era. Our nerdy thoughts. Pennywise waits 27 years because its biology, psychology, and cosmic nature demand it. Fear must ferment, children must grow, memories must fade. Only then can the cycle begin fresh, dripping with innocence and terror. The creeper, meanwhile, awakens every 23 years, driven by its own monstrous metabolism. Both entities prove one terrifying truth. Horror isn't random, it is patterned, patient, and cyclical. Monsters don't just appear, they return, again and again. Perhaps that's why these stories resonate so deeply. They remind us that evil doesn't die, it hibernates, and somewhere in the dark, something is counting the years until we forget.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.